hundreds of dead fish are shutting down a popular lake near Huron, and it's causing some problems for some people who like to spend time there.
Devin Balster comes to swim at Huron's Ravine Lake almost every summer weekend. But today, he's had to put a hold on his plans.
Doesn't smell very good, I know that much, but can't bring my dog down here and he can't enjoy it, so.
The park is temporarily closed off for swimming. Earlier this week, park staff counted more than 300 dead fish scattered in and around the lake. And now dozens more are making their way to the shore. Game Fish and Park staff say low oxygen levels are what are causing the fish to die. The reason may be due to warm temperatures and decaying material in the lake. Environmentalists say the water's brown color could be dead phytoplankton draining the oxygen from the water. The park director says it's been 10 years since Ravine Lake has had a fish kill like this. Lately, park staff say they've seen a number of other fish coming to the surface to try and get oxygen. Yet environmentalists say rain could be the answer to restoring the lake. And that's something Balster is hoping to see pretty soon.
So we can just come back here and enjoy it.
Began tonight at 5 with hundreds of dead fish surfacing at an Oklahoma lake. Our mobile newsroom traveled to El Reno, where authorities are trying to figure out what's the cause of this fish kill.
William McCormick has lived in El Reno all his life, and he comes to the lake often. But this weekend, something was different.
I come out to test my boat. I've been working on it, and I noticed there was fish just floating everywhere.
And not just one or two, but hundreds of fish. McCormick says he's never seen anything like it.
I've never seen fish kill out here. I mean, it's got a pretty good flow through, and even in the years before when the lake was really low, you think that that's when they would have it, you know, but it wasn't. It was, the lake's full right now.
We spoke with authorities off camera who believe the extreme heat has been taking away the oxygen in the water, and that could be the reason for the fish kill. But McCormick isn't so sure.
But it's been, you know, that way every summer. This summer's been cooler than most, so I kind of wonder about that.
Farmers doing their best to shoo locusts off their farms, but their efforts have little impact. This has been the situation in Madagascar since April 2013. The government has embarked on a program to keep the infestation under control. In the southwest, which is the heart of the locust plague, Cyclone Haruna, which struck Madagascar in February 2013, has worsened the situation, not only causing considerable damage but also improving the locust breeding conditions for a longer period than usual. Now, rice and other crops are at risk of considerable damage, which can have a wider impact on domestic supply and cereal prices. Depending on its size and density, a locust swarm can consume up to 100,000 tons per day of green vegetation. Given that the locust-affected regions account for 50% of the total agricultural land under rice cultivation and more than 60% of the total rice production, the potential damage that large swarms can inflict on cropland and pastures can be devastating.
Before your kids head back to school, you might need to make a trip to the doctor's office. As 41 Action News reporter Ariel Rothfield shows us, for the first time in years, Missouri is adding a new vaccination requirement for both middle and high school students.
As Kira Kelly takes a shot at her new composition, her mom is thinking about a different shot she will soon need for school.
My children who have gone to college have all received that. And so I don't have a problem with my 12-year-old daughter getting it either.
For the first time in 10 years, Missouri is updating its vaccination requirements, mandating all students entering 8th and 12th grades get the meningococcal vaccination.
It can be deadly. We want to stop it before it starts.
Meningococcal disease causes meningitis. It's highly contagious and starts with flu-like symptoms that can quickly escalate.
You're sitting in class together, you're next to each other. A lot of times the kids are spending time outside of school together, so it's just really easy, and there's so many kids. It's really easy to spread.
Over the last 10 years, there have been 162 cases of bacterial meningitis and 23 deaths in the state of Missouri.
Just north of Boston, the town of Somerville, Massachusetts, is divided over a Black Lives Matter sign. It's been up for more than a year. Michelle Miller tells us why some want it taken down.
Dozens of protesters gathered outside Somerville City Hall Thursday, demanding that the Black Lives Matter banner out front be taken down. The banner went up a year ago, designed to open a conversation about race in the community. But the murders of police in Baton Rouge and Dallas tested the tolerance here. Mike McGrath heads up the local police union.
Our message is simply life matters. Okay, we don't necessarily, we don't want to exclude any population of the United States.
Rachel Meiselman is a local educator. Are you for the banner coming down or not the banner coming down?
Black Lives Matter, that banner should definitely come down. You know, the Black Lives Matter movement is predicated on the idea that you have police officers, and a great number of them, that are so consumed by hatred that they would take the life of another.
That's the whole point of having dialogue.
Black Lives Matter held its own gathering a mile away. Stephanie Durand is one of the organizers.
How many people have to die on camera for us to understand that Black lives don't matter in this country? I'm sorry, I'm emotional about this topic.
Some Somerville residents, like Michael Johnson, see both sides.
Nobody wants to see a police officer shot and killed, but yet the Black Lives Matter movement doesn't represent that. I'm totally pro-police. Then again, I totally understand the struggle that goes on with Black Lives Matter.
Somerville's mayor, Joseph Curtatone, says the sign will not come down. The conversation, he says, must continue.
If we're going to be a stronger, more civilized society, then we have to have the conversation. It'll be difficult, it will not be easy, but we'll be stronger in the end for it.
A sign of the times in a town divided.
Horrors migrants face on their way to Europe are being depicted in a new media campaign launched by Italy.
D'un chemin sans retour. C'est une route qui va à l'enfer.
On s'est perdu sur la mer et il n'y avait pas d'espoir.
J'ai perdu ma copine dans l'eau. Elle est morte dans l'eau.
Je pleurais comme un tout petit bébé.
3 jours sans manger, j'étais entre la mort et la vie, entre la vie et la mort.
C'était pas facile.
The video will be aired in both Europe and Africa to raise awareness about the risks of using smuggling routes. Hundreds are crossing the Mediterranean on a daily basis to get into Europe, facing abuse by human traffickers. And for an alarming number, the journey proves fatal.
The Islamic State militant group has called for more terror attacks against Christians following the recent killing of a priest in France. The cover of the latest issue of the group's Dabiq magazine shows an ISIS member ripping a cross off the roof of a church with the title "Break the Cross." ISIS also called on others to join the terror group and for its members in Western countries to attack Christians without hesitation. The magazine also urged its members to target Pope Francis, saying he's hiding behind a deceptive veil of goodwill towards Muslims.
Coming off the heels of the horrific killing of a French priest, ISIS now sending a chilling warning. The extremist group posting to the messaging app Telegram, threatening the people of London and Washington, D.C. that they're next. One image shows the Statue of Liberty on fire, but with the words, "Washington soon." Across the pond, the UK ramping up security at churches for fear of an attack on their soil.
ISIS is claiming responsibility for an attack in an Iraqi oil field. 4 employees of an Iraqi oil company are being held hostage after armed militants attacked an oil field near the northern Iraqi city of Kirkuk on Sunday, a senior security source in the city told CNN. The ISIS-affiliated Amaq news agency released a statement claiming responsibility for the attack. 4 attackers, believed to be wearing suicide vests, stormed the Bai Hassan oil field northwest of the northern Iraqi city of Kirkuk and took the staff, employees of the Iraqi North Oil Company, hostage, the source said. 1 attacker remains in the facility, 2 were killed by security forces, and another detonated himself when security forces responded.
Lawmakers in Mali have agreed to extend a state of emergency across the country by another 8 months. The vote came as renewed violence broke out near Kidal in the northeast. Former Tuareg rebels are battling a pro-government armed group for control of the city. Deadly clashes broke out between the 2 groups last week, first time their ceasefire has been broken since last September. Mali declared first a state of emergency in November last year after jihadists stormed a hotel in capital Bamako, killing 20 people. It has been extended several times since then.
The U.S. Air Force is sending B-1 stealth bombers to Guam for the first time in a decade. The Hawaii-based Pacific Command says an undisclosed number of B-1s will deploy to Andersen Air Force Base on August 6th to replace B-52 bombers that have been on Guam as part of U.S. Air Force's continuous bomber presence mission. The B-1 bombers will be accompanied by about 300 airmen. The move comes as China has been upping its flights in the increasingly tense South China Sea. Officials say the B-1s, which have a low radar cross-section and can fly at more than 1,500 kilometers an hour, will provide the U.S. with a significant rapid global strike capability.
Next century, an asteroid called Bennu could fly between the moon and the Earth, possibly threatening life on Earth. So, of course, NASA wants to study it. The asteroid was first discovered in 1999 and crosses Earth's orbit every 6 years. To study Bennu, NASA plans on launching a probe in September called OSIRIS-REx, which should arrive at the asteroid in 2018. While there, the probe will survey the asteroid's chemical makeup and geological history. Scientists are also hoping to learn how a newly discovered force can send asteroids speeding around the solar system. That new force, the Yarkovsky effect, gives asteroids small thrusts from sunlight absorption and heat radiation. The effect causes the asteroid to change course in ways we can't accurately predict yet. But NASA isn't going to Bennu just because of a possible collision in the future. It's also a great opportunity to learn about a rare type of asteroid formed in a young solar system. Because it was born in the early days of our solar system, Bennu is rich in carbon materials, just like the asteroids that slammed into a young Earth, the kind that might have seeded our planet with organic materials needed to produce life. There's really only a 1 in 2,500 chance that Bennu hits Earth in the 22nd century. But we're bound to get unlucky someday, and this type of research just might save us in the end.
They're now coming out and admitting that it could actually create black holes that could destroy the Earth. Wow, that's a wonderful headline. This story comes to us courtesy of John Austin at The Express, who reports that they believe if the particle smasher does not create a black hole that swallows up our world, it will pull an asteroid towards us, trigger monster earthquakes, or open a portal to allow Satan in to finish his work. They also state here that a host of conspiracy theories are now claiming there is something more sinister behind the complex machine on the Swiss-French border than answering the mysteries of how the universe started. They write, after The Express this week reported on the latest theory that the Large Hadron Collider is allegedly causing major earthquakes when it's operational, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, has now moved to allay those fears. They say that they clarified what it is doing, but has admitted that the particle collider could create a black hole. So there you have it. The CERN has said that, yes, we can create a black hole. But they claim, oh yes, it would still be safe.